The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Today I have gathered all of my sons before me. And there is someone extra here. The Satan is also in attendance. Satan, from where have you come?
Well, Lord, I couldn't miss this auspicious occasion. I just came from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it.
Oh, really? Have you considered my servant Job? How there is none like him in the land. A blameless and upright man, one who shuns away evil.
Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge of protection around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now let me tell you something. You stretch out your hand and strike everything that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face.
Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not touch his person.
Welcome to today's episode, where we embark on a journey through the book of Job, starting with chapter 1. This is the story of immense faith, unimaginable trials, and a mysterious interplay between heaven and earth. As we delve into the life of Job, a man whose unwavering devotion is tested by forces beyond his control, we invite you to reflect on the profound lessons of resilience, trust, and most importantly, the sovereignty of God. As always, be blessed and enjoy.
All right.
Someone had a good vacation.
Oh boy. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Breath of Fresh Air podcast here with your host
Nakhaz Gay.
and Earl Roberts. So did we mention the Bible Museum here? Anyway, we are fresh off our visit to Washington D.C. and the Bible Museum. We'll have something special dropping in one of these episodes related to that. But it was actually a pretty good trip. I mean, we went with a group of other friends, some Dominic McFall and his wife.
Some
Lindell.
podcast alum.
Some podcast alum. And we went with some other folks who are just like good friends. And some people we just met for the first time, at least me, like just meeting Ron and Ian.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty good. It was a good trip. What are your thoughts?
You've been to DC before, right?
Yeah. That wasn't my first time in DC.
So it's one thing to go to a city. I think DC is unlike any city in America because it's like, bro, hold that thought for a second. But you know how in the movies you might see an alien like population and they come to take over the world, right?
Yeah.
But they really just invading New York City.
Yeah.
Like in Hollywood, in Hollywood, when you think of like America, the way they market America is usually they market in New York or California for real.
Fox.
Right? But going to Washington, D.C., it made me feel like a true tourist of America.
Yeah, seeing all these sites.
Seeing all these sites and these monuments, and then you see all type of different cultures come in to do this very thing. So if you come to the Bahamas, you come to Nassau, New Providence, that's the capital of the Bahamas. There's so much history of the Bahamas. Like you get to learn and experience that. It's the same thing when you go to other countries. Like you go to that capital city, you get to learn about the country. Washington, D.C. gave me that opportunity. So I felt like a true tourist, bro. And I've been living here for over 10 years. You know what I mean?
Riding bikes, going to the different monuments.
I tell you, because we live in America. Like, so even if you're in another city, you still live in this country. So it's like that tourist feeling, like you shake that off long time. You know what I mean? Because you just understand the culture and the way of life. But just going up there, I don't know. It was different, bro. You get to see the White House.
The White House.
What I mean? Like,
you get to see the Capitol. Went to the
Capitol
Supreme
building.
Court.
Different
Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, different memorials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, we also went to a few museums to.
Yeah. And we went to the Museum of the Bible.
Yeah, that was the purpose of the trip.
Exactly.
To go to the Museum of the Bible. And that was good. That was good. And I feel like that was actually, it's so funny because we went there for that, but that was just one of many just great moments. Like, I feel like everything about the trip, it's almost like we like, this is odd, like everybody go to DC, experience that, but I don't know. I just felt like it was just so many, in our brief time, so many moments that were just really good.
No, for real. For real. Like, there were multiple things in the trip. It was like, oh, I actually had fun.
Right.
It's like, sometimes it's like you enjoy like different parts of some trips, right? But I was like, when I was on the plane, I was like, no, I actually had like fun every day doing stuff. Like, it was an enjoyable trip. Like, the times when we even do stuff as a group, times when we like branched off, did our own things as individuals. Like, it was like, overall the trip was still like very like fun and enjoyable.
Facts, bro. And like, our Orlando crew, we see each other all the time, and we seeing each other in a different country. So it's almost like, it's no need to go on a trip. You know what I mean? It ain't like when you, like all your people from back home, you know what I mean? Like, but we need to meet up, somewhere. We already in a different country living here, bro. Like,
Quite literally.
It's almost like a trip every time we meet. And then, hey, you live in a different city, so when I go to see you, that's like a trip.
It's a trip.
You know what I mean?
It's a trip.
You here in Sanford, that's like a trip.
Oh my goodness, yeah, boy. Sweet hour and a half drive home.
Oh man, but it was fun. It was fun.
So it was definitely fun.
We got some content we about to put together. We ain't gonna kill you with content, but for those who care, we put some clips together, some pictures, so you could just really see what it was like at the Bible Museum and at the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it was overall pretty good. It was really good. Next on our list, we don't know.
We don't know. We have a few contenders.
I do want to go to the Ark Encounter.
I definitely do.
I do want to go to the Ark Encounter. Like, the reason why I think that one's a little bit more themed, and just from some of the stuff I think it'll be a more interesting museum to go to. Yeah. And overall, it's like they actually built the Ark. Now,
yeah, because with the Bible Museum, like the whole time building up to going there, I was wondering, like, what are they going to show us, bro? It's like the Bible is so vast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, you could do a museum just on the Book of Kings, bro. And still you can't uncover everything that happened because of so much history,
Yeah. For me, like, they literally gave history on the Bible, but they gave a history on like the stages of the Bible through history too. That was kind of like different. I didn't expect it. It was interesting though, like seeing from like scrolls, like this was like the first Bible written, like again, the King James version wasn't in English. The English version of the Bible wasn't the first version. Like, like Martin Luther, he was Dutch, German. You know what I'm saying? So it was interesting seeing some of those progressions, like, oh, this is the oldest Bible in this context. This is the oldest Bible in this context. But it's also interesting seeing like some of the history, like they actually had some replicas of some of like the stones, Stele, the Rosetta Stone, different ways, like how they were used to interpret different like translations and stuff throughout the Bible. One thing that caught me off guard too is there was a lot of like ancient literature, but it wasn't really biblical.
Yeah.
Like they referenced the tale, like Epic of Gilgamesh a few times, the Stone of Hammurabi. Like I was like, huh. Yeah,
and it's like, so that was on the floor that was about history, right? Yeah. What did they call it that? Anyway, it was a store. It was a floor that they just focused plainly on history. There was no like what they call
exhibits
or anything like that. But so you get up there and they show Bible. And then they might show a Bible text from a very long time, right? And then they show the counterpart, like the historic counterpart of it. And in my mind, that was really killing me because I'm like, bro, we made it all the way up to this floor for history. like this the meat and potatoes. I was
itching for it too,
for sure. This the meat and potatoes.
I was itching for it.
And you showing me other people's history.
Yeah.
Show me the Bible as history,
Yeah. I guess like I was trying to explain it to like one of my cousins, right, what I expected, but like I know I watch like all the historical things and like like archaeological stuff and like how they prove like, oh, this is actually the ancient city of Jericho and like how it actually was Jericho. I think I was expecting some more of that.
Right.
But it wasn't really that. It was like, we gonna show you how the Bible start and we gonna take you through the actual history of like the Bible itself and the translation and the different like versions of it. And then they did have like a replica of like the life of Christ, as they call it. So they show like the streets where Christ walked, kind of things were in that time period. And you get to see these reenactments. That was pretty cool. And then there was one I won't call it a show. But there was like one show we did that was actually a pretty cool interactive experience where they try to take you from like creation and through to go through different rooms and different things. And that was really good. That was a well executed like exhibit. Yeah. That was really cool. And then the next one was just like a movie. And I felt like I was just watching the Trojan for 30 minutes.
That one was like a movie.
And I was like, I could have done without this.
I think I would like, I can't, it's bad to compare the shows into that short film that we watched. But I feel like that was actually very well put together. Like I definitely watched that. I was gonna say I would watch which one I would watch more than the other, but I was like, that ain't necessary. But I would definitely even watch that film. I think that, you know, you got kids probably like 10 and older, or you interested, you know, definitely check out the Bible Museum.
No, it's definitely worth checking out.
The Museum of the Bible.
Yeah, Museum of the Bible. It's definitely worth checking out. Yeah. Definitely worth checking. But it was a good experience. So yeah, we coming off of that. But it was, again, the people we went there with, great people. Shout out to you guys. I don't want to call any names just for like, I guess privacy. You may not want your name to get shouted, but shout out to you guys. You guys made the trip definitely more enjoyable. We definitely had fun, and thank you guys for like tagging along with us. It was a great time. Now keeping with that, let's go to this week. We're starting the book of Job, but we're gonna get there. But in keeping with our trying to tackle Psalms, we're gonna start off in Psalms 2. Let's see. Psalms 2 verse 1. Why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? And the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bonds in pieces and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall hold them in derision. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep displeasure. Yet have I set my king on the holy hill of Zion. I will declare and decree, the Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance, and the ends of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and you shall dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Now therefore be wise, O kings, be instructed. You judges of the earth, serve with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish in the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all those who put their trust in him.
And so that's because before the pod, we were kind of just going over if we should really just lock in on one, Psalms or Proverbs. Obviously, Psalms is far longer than Proverbs. So I think we can keep the ping pong thing that we doing. But the thing about Psalms, though, bro, out of nowhere, you could get a New Testament
reference.
Well, this was before. Well,
yeah.
Like a callback, I guess. Or
this would be like foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yeah. That's the better term. So, like, right now, you read this, and it's like, they have specific terms like, my son, today I have begotten you. You see what I'm saying? Ask me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance and the ends of the earth for your possession. And when we think about, we just finished the book of Daniel. In those prophecies, we see how there were nations that rule over God's people, and you know that's historic. But toward the end of the prophecy, Jesus's kingdom will rise like a mountain. It was the stone that was cut without human hands, and it would rule over all the earth. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we can see how even in the book of Psalms, like these prayers and these little poetry, like we can see evidence of God's kingdom will reign supreme. You know what I'm saying? The Father who has given us his son has a plan for his son, you know what I'm saying, and for his people, and all of the nations will be a part of that plan. You know what I'm saying? Not as the nations will now be the tail, and God's and his people, his kingdom will be the head, And that's kind of what I got from this text.
Indeed. I like. Oh, it's Psalms, right? And it's so interesting. Like, there's so many different things that can stick out to you in one particular chapter. I mean, I just like the ending. Best of those who put their trust in him. Because, like, sometimes you see all these things happening around you, right? These people getting blessed and you don't know why. They're getting blessed and you're not. You see you might be in distress, but all in all, it's saying, you know what? God is in charge. He puts people where he needs them to be. And you just need to put your trust in him, and you'll be blessed. Like, hey, I like that.
That reminded me of something I saw in I think it was the Bible Museum. The Museum of the Bible. It's so crazy because the day before we went to that museum, we went to the African American History Museum. And boy, it wasn't as tough as I thought it would be, but it's a dark history that descendants of Africa had to endure. And a lot of it started with people who claim to be Christians. Not even like, oh, this was the papacy or Catholic. This was Protestants that started slavery. The Protestants that started selling slaves and Protestants that were buying slaves.
Yep.
That's one thing that I completely discounted every time somebody came to me and say, oh, this the white man religion and they push it on us as slaves. I'm like, bro, you telling me what a bunch of people who were immoral was doing as if they the
arbiters of righteousness.
Right, you see what I'm saying? Like, as they the source of truth or something. So because they push it on somebody, that make this thing just completely bad, and Christianity have to be completely tainted because somebody who ain't making no sense know how was using it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, a broke clock right twice a day, bro. You see what I'm saying? If that's the case, bro, if they do anything else right, you could say, oh, we can't do that no more because this bad person did that. How about we look at what Christianity was supposed to be like? You know what I'm saying? Or people that actually practice Christianity correctly, the way they act. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's more compelling than that. But when they start from like the ground floor, you know what I'm saying, of the tension arising in Europe, and then how slavery and stuff came about as a result of that, I'm like, bro, it really was at was a foundational piece. The people that were trying to sell slaves, they made their religion a foundational piece in these things as well. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of give a little more credence to people complaining about that, although it does not change anything for me. You see what I'm saying? Christianity existed before the slaves. You know what I'm saying? Before people chose to use it anyway. But man, I can't find the picture. I just got to go straight to the text. It was actually Deuteronomy 28. And so that's kind of interesting because, the people who want to be, I'm not saying who want to be, but the people who are like Hebrew Israelite, or the people that have a hypothesis that us descendants of slaves, we were actually not quote unquote African. We were actually descended from Judah, or Israelite, and that's, there's these theories saying, oh, that's why people were so adamant on selling some and not all, whatever, because these was whatever. Anyway, but this text, it remind me, I can't find it quick, bro. But it's basically a text that say, if it's a text in Deuteronomy 28 where it was kind of saying, I will make you above all the nations. You see what I'm saying? And this was one of the blessings.
That should be verse 1, eh?
Is it? Yes. Wow. Yeah, you bought. I was trying to scare you. It say, now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations of the earth. And that's what that text remind me of, Psalm chapter 2, when they talk about, the Most High and his kingdom. And that remind me of what God is coming back to do now. He gave us his people, God, the people of God. I ain't getting into race and religion, but when God came, right, his instruction, especially after, like when the Israelites, the 12 tribes, when they had the Torah and all of the law, before Moses died, the instructions was clear. God wants us to keep his commandments, and he intends to bless us. We're supposed to thrive.
Yep.
All throughout the history of the Bible, our people, God's people, have continued to disobey. And as a result, we have put ourselves in harm's way. We have put ourselves in the area for curses to happen and not blessings. And because of that, we now captured by the Babylonians or captured by this people,
Persians and the Greeks and the Romans,
etc. And so now, when his kingdom returned, he's gonna restore that which was lost. Like he's gonna give us the dominion, you know what I'm saying, and establish his kingdom, something that could have happened on earth if we had not deviated from the plan. And even more beyond that, it could have happened if Adam and Eve
just didn't eat the fruit.
You know what I mean? But by the grace of God, there's a plan to redeem, you know what I'm saying?
Amen. Amen. All right. So now for the long drawn out intro. We are here for what you probably clicked on this episode for. The book of Job. And Job, man, I've been talking about Job for years now. And it's so funny. When we finally was on the cusp of Job, we felt impressed to talk about Daniel, which was still good and was something that we still feel was very needed, and I still stand by that. But now that we are done with Daniel, we get to cycle back to Job. 13 weeks later, we are back on the cusp of Job.
Yeah.
But God is good. God is good. This is an interesting book, right? So Job is some believe this might be the oldest book in the Bible, just because in the actual Hebrew that was used in the original text. But it's such an interesting book because Job, you can't tie it down to a time. You don't really know when it happened. We just know it was like in the ancient Mesopotamian era.
Mm-hmm.
Job, based on the text, might not even have been a Hebrew, might not even have been an Israelite.
Right.
Might have been before the times of the Israelites.
Right, because like based on, like you say, they try to date it based on the language that was used, right?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how old it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
This could have happened before the 12. This could have happened when the 12 tribes were still in Egypt, or even before the 12, even before Jacob had his 12 tribes.
Exactly.
This could have happened. I've heard some people speculate that Job existed the same time as Abraham. You know,
some people try to say it because Abraham's son was nephew, not son, goodness. One of his nephews was Huz, H in front of the UZ. So they say it might have been an offspring of Huz in
the line of Huz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might have been like an offspring of them in a nearby town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, we don't know who wrote it. We don't know what time period it was in, and that to me is probably, we can talk about this at the end too, but it's probably one of the beauty of the book too, because it's like, it wasn't trying to get you lost in the historical timeline of the book, but more so the message that this book is asking you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be a fun ride. It's gonna be a fun ride because this book tries to deal with like what is just, and is God just, and does he govern this world based on principles of justness? But the one thing that you're going to see in this book as we go through it, right? It's a poetic book. That's the thing we should say. It is part of Hebrew poetry, right? And especially after like chapters 1 and 2, 3 to like 15, I feel like it's just poetry, and you have like an epilogue at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have Job wrestle with some of his friends in this point of the book, right? Just to see like, is God just? But one thing you're gonna see that comes in, and we're gonna get this when we talk about when we finally get there, is we try to put God in our box as we as humans try to confine him in. And that's like something that you're gonna see come through once you see them start talking, because we in our human minds essentially can't rationalize God and understand the characteristics and the ways of God. And that's like the one flaw in human thinking. But Man, even in chapter 1, we're gonna get posed with some questions, and it's a very, very interesting story. Very interesting story.
Very.
I know I've been gassing up Job, but hopefully you as listeners and readers like enjoy. And definitely, as always, leave us your comments. I think like Giannis, those Bible studies also in Job too, right? That's what you guys were hinting to.
I don't think so.
They ain't there yet, or they already passed there.
No, they ain't. We far beyond
Okay,
where they are.
okay. I thought they was catching up, especially how we jump.
That's interesting. I ain't hear from them in a while, but I don't even think they in First Kings.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. Worthy. Valid effort. All right. So in Job 1 verse 1, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and the one who feared God and shunned evil.
First question,
Go
and
for
this has
it.
been my question since I was a boy.
Mhm.
Why is his name spelled like that or pronounced like that?
You just gonna call him Job?
Yeah, that's phonetically.
Boy,
Because like when we
I gotta
transliterate,
go back to the Hebrew because I wouldn't know.
but that's what I'm saying. When you transliterate it, right,
Mm-hmm.
you get the exact word, the letters, right, and then we had to put a pronunciation.
Pronunciation to it.
You know what I mean?
Because I think it probably just to be a separation between Job and Job. So they just say we just call it Job. I literally don't know.
That's true.
I literally don't know.
Yeah.
But like when you read like blameless, like the last person I feel who's ever referred to as blameless was it Noah? Or was Abram also referred to that way?
I want to say Noah because
I definitely want to say no. I just know Noah was a righteous man, blameless in this generation.
Yeah.
Noah walked with God.
right. Enoch is get all the credit for walking with God, but Noah also
Noah also walked with God.
walk with God. And that walking with God, you know, when I was young, I used to think that me and him and God used to just be chilling, walking, all you know what I mean, just hanging out, they going for a walk and stuff like that. But now I believe that to mean that you walk in the way of God, you know what I'm saying? Like you walk in his precepts. Can two walk unless they agree? And you were, you know, in line with God, is another way to put that. And so I like how the text start because they start off by saying that this man was blameless and upright and one who feared God and shunned evil. So they give all his attributes. Now, he have many other attributes, and we can get to that in verse 2. But what's so interesting is that people always just feel like they are Job, bro. Like a lot of people in life that have referenced the Bible, I've heard a lot of people say like they feel like Job or they going through what Job going through. But I'm like, there's a
key point you're missing.
there's a key point you're missing, bro.
Key point you're missing.
That now it's one thing to go. I think it might be more accurate to say you feel like Jeremiah. You know what I mean? Lamentations, like you feel like Daniel. You see what I'm saying? Like you feel like Joseph, maybe. You know what I mean? Like I feel,
Joseph's a sticky one too, because Josephine, even though the Bible didn't specifically say it, Joseph's character was pretty spot on. Your
Right.
best say you feel like David.
right. You feel like David.
You feel like David.
Because the Bible don't say yay or nay for Joseph. And because of that, we don't have no evidence that he wasn't blameless and upright. You know,
Exactly.
because he was, when he had his one shot, he was like, I ain't into that. You see what he's saying? I ain't sinning.
Exactly.
I am not sinning. Even though I have nothing to live for, I ain't sinning type situation. So he's very pious, you know? And so I feel like a lot of people, and I want the listeners to kind of wrestle with this, like a lot of people say that they are going through what Job is going through, or they feel like they are Job, like they most relate to Job, but it can't be only from a sake of calamity
Suffering.
or suffering. You know what I mean? It have to be from a sake of righteousness first,
Exactly.
despite the fact that you're suffering. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, because the mom's blameless, like, so the author's trying to point across that what this mom had to go through, from a human perspective, he didn't quote unquote deserve.
And that's the point of
You
the
see what
book.
I'm
And
saying?
I like how you bring it up too, right? Because think about it. The book would have no purpose if he wasn't blameless.
Correct.
And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into exactly how blameless he was in a minute, right? But think about the book literally wouldn't have no purpose. He was like a regular human being.
Right. You know,
Because
cut
then-
corners when he could.
Exactly.
Sin when he nobody looking type situation. Now, I ain't saying that he had never sinned, because even in the Bible, they say if someone say they had not sinned, you know, they like a liar, you know,
Yeah.
type of situation. But he get to a place where he was like, bro, I really ain't, but I want to please God.
Exactly. So we see he was blameless and upright and one who feared God and shunned evil. And He had 7 sons and 3 daughters who were born to him. So he had 10 children.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very large household. So this man was the greatest of all the people in the East.
Crazy. But it's so interesting to me. Like, this don't really mean nothing, but it's just so interesting the patterns that's happening. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, so a total of 10 children, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had 7,000 sheep,
Mm-hmm.
3,000 camels. So that's like
That's
between
10.
Sheep, that's 10 between
Mm-hmm.
sheep and camel. 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkey.
10.
You see what I'm saying? Another 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just feel like that. Like, that's the poetry starting already. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And again, just for context, right? We compare him to Abraham. We know Abraham was very wealthy because of how much flocks and stuff he had.
Correct.
And again, they also said he had a very large household, who does also sound like Abraham. We talk about Abraham had a very large household he was taking care of as well. So again, they paint the picture like this man was blameless. He feared God and shunned evil, similar to Abraham, and he was blessed. He was blessed, and he had a household. And he had the wealth to prove it. He was a blessed man.
But that's, thousands of mouths to feed.
Bro, yeah, and like anyway, let's keep going. In verse 4, and his sons would go and feast in their houses, each on his appointed day, and he would send an invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. So it was when the days of feasting had run their course that Job would send and sanctify them. And he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it might be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus Job did regularly.
They showing. So I think if I had been more diligent in our study of the Bible, well, I don't think I had this mindset at first, but if I had been a little more diligent, I would like try to really like study the habits of righteous people.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when basketball players talk, right? Like, or professional athletes, and they talk about who they mirrored their game after, or if you were a good defender, like you study. I know I playing against Earl, and he's a very explosive scorer. I study his patterns. You see what I'm saying? So I could be able to stop it, or to be more effective, or to be like him, right? Look at the things. Just like when I tell you
The blessed man, the reverse of the blessed man.
right. Like look at what he doing, bro. Remember Daniel, right?
Yep.
Daniel was sitting home old, very old,
That prayer and Daniel.
just praying for his people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Praying for a revival for his people. Lord, we sin, we do this and that and the third. You know what I mean? It might not have had nothing to do with you, and if it did, you not only praying for yourself, but you praying for everybody else, and you praying earnest prayers, right? But now look at what Job doing. Job praying in the event that they sin.
Bro, in the event. And he offering sacrifices for them, bro.
In the event. Like, I don't even have evidence that they have done this. He might be saying this based on he know his kids and he know what they into. You know what I mean? But also, he don't have no tangible proof, bro. They might not have sinned at all, but Lord, just in the event that they sin, I trying to cover
He
them.
literally acting like the priest for his family.
Yes, exactly.
Like, bro, it's funny thing, right? I train my children to do what I think they should do, but Lord, they just had a nice party. I don't know what they do. And he just sacrificing when we sacrificing, they say, bro, for each one of them. That's 10 different sacrifices he offering for his kids. All of y'all making sure y'all covered. We say now, the blanket term is just praying mothers, right? But you got praying people in your family, grandmothers, fathers, mothers. But it's like this is what Job doing. Job saying, "Yo, I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm making sure I doing my part and covering y'all."
Exactly. And this he did
regularly, not just a one-time thing. Not just like, oh, I can do this like once a week. Nobody doing this regularly. As much as I feel I need to do this, I doing it. So now in verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. Some versions might say the accuser. And there's the Hebrew word, the Satan, technically, Satan. We say Satan in our modern day English, right? But it was like the Satan. And that really means the accuser or the one who opposes. So now, we just going to choose Job. Nice guy, righteous guy, blameless. And then now in verse 6, we have a sudden scene shift. We suddenly coming into like, almost like we back in Daniel where the veil of heaven is open. But now we seeing, again, almost like Daniel, right? We're almost seeing like we seeing some heavenly beings gathered. And if you're reading in the Hebrew, you're seeing the accuser is also among them. So now almost picture like this courtroom setting again. Now we have the defendants and we have the defense and the prosecution. Now the prosecution is now in the courtroom, and the Lord said to the accuser, "From where have you come?" And Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth and walking back and forth on it." Then the Lord said, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil?" So now we seeing God, right, who knows his child, telling the accuser, "Bro, you trying to find all these different people to accuse? Sorry, excuse me. I got one for you. Job. You ain't seeing me. You around here trying to accuse all these people. You ain't see Job? What you got on Job? What you got on Job? He is blameless. He is no one else on him on the earth, and he fears God and he shuns evil." Got anything to say so far?
Yeah, I mean,
go for it.
God vouch for Job.
Vouching.
You know what it is? You put your name on something, bro.
Exactly. Stamps, rubber stamp.
You put his stamp.
Box stopped.
Like, and so even from we know the story of Job. I feel like even people who are not Christian know the story of Job. But from here, just understanding who God is, you should know that it don't even make sense to try to prove God wrong in this instance. Like, like understanding who God is, like we about to go through everything that happened to Job, but how it started, God saying, "Bro, have you noticed my boy, bro? There's no one like him. He wasn't one of many, he was one of one.
One of one on the earth."
You see what I'm saying? Like he's blameless and upright. And the devil, he have to now sit with that. But the devil just say he was to and fro all
on the earth.
He done. You know what it is, bro? You scan everything or everywhere, you're gonna recognize the one that stand out. So the devil know about Job. You see what I'm saying? Just like when you in a meeting, right? And you have to talk about an array of things.
Yeah,
but
boy.
there's one thing that you're not too sharp on, right? So it's like I'm gonna try to cover everything that I am good with to cover up this one thing that I ain't too sharp on, right? So the devil tries to sweep Job under the rug. He tried to make it seem like, let's say there's 7 billion people in the world, right? 1 out of 7 billion, bro.
Exactly.
It's like that's such a small percentage. It's safe to say the entire world, even though it's just one. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So he said, "Bro, I don't see everybody around." You know what I mean? I don't look, and I come in empty-handed. But God saying, "Bro, you just ignore Job then."
Just ignore him. But then what's funny, right? So the devil, Satan, answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear you for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands. His possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." Hence, the accuser is now accusing.
He doing what he does best. He accusing.
Exactly. But here's the thing, right? And this has started to be an introduction to like some of the questions like you got to like wrestle with in Job. How much people do treat God that way? How the devil is accusing God of how like Job is treating him. You know what I'm saying? Because all he's saying is, "Boy, obviously Job is serving you. Obviously. Because why? You done bless him." You imagine putting this, you done bless him more than everybody else. So obviously he's the most blessed man on the earth. He's the most upright man. He have no reason to not love you, to not worship you. You ain't give this man no hardship.
And you know what? That sounds so logical.
Bro, it sounds very logical.
It sounds so logical, but that is improbable. And the reason I'm saying that is because you just was telling me absolute power corrupts absolutely.
It
You know
does.
that type situation, right? Job had all the power, bro. It's plenty people in the Bible in his predicament. Hezekiah, a righteous man, a king, right? We have Solomon, you know what I mean? We might can put Samson in there, but I don't really have evidence that Samson was upright, like even before the power. He always had power, I'd say, you know what I mean? But I can leave Samson. I talked to my father-in-law. He gave me a nice, good perspective on Samson, you know what I mean? But anyhow, but we have, I just named two people who were righteous and sought after God. We could put David up there too. And with all of the power and all of the blessing that God gave them, they did not use it for good. You see what I'm saying? It corrupted them, you know, to some degree. And we see how some of these people, all of those people that I mentioned, they use their power to exalt themselves. You see what I'm saying? Above God. And that's how it gets, bro. Like, we say it all the time, bro, and it's a joke, but it's like, it's kind of interesting of a joke to make people that say, bro, God know why he ain't blessed me with X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know how to act.
And so finish your point.
But so like it's a joke, but at the same time, you know that if God bless you with this thing, you just saying you could use that for yourself. You see that, and you gotta abuse it. I ain't trying to be the fun police, but in a sense, that's kind of what is being said. You know?
Yo, but I'm like, think about it. Like how much times we try to make the blessings of God transactional, right? God, if you give me X, Y, and Z, I will use a portion of this money to give back to the church or give back to charity or give back to this. And it's like, God, if you do this for me, I can do this for you. And so the devil's saying, buddy, you don't do all this for him. To everybody else, it's transactional. So you don't even know if he could be the ones who curse you because you have never taken anything of this from him. You know what I'm saying? So again, to both points, right? It's logical. Now, granted, I'm not on the devil's side, right? Go on, finish your point. But I'm like, that's how a lot of people treat God and treat God's blessings. A tit for tat. And that should not be this way.
But I hate this. I think in a perfect world, when you understand how good God is.
No, I agree.
That should be the case. Like the devil should be able to say, well, Earl is so devoted to you, but why wouldn't he be if you bless him, right? But the fact of the matter is, so many times the Lord bless us, bro, and we forget. You see what I'm saying? And it become what you done for me lately. It's like when you say how diligent you was praying when you was sick. You see what I'm saying? When you needed that job. You know what I mean? And then as soon as you get these things, you slowly forget what God has actually done for you. It's because God ain't physically here every day. Like we don't see him. And even when people did see him, they take him for granted, you know? And so I say all that to say, bro, in theory, that sounds correct. Like I am inclined to agree, bro. It's like don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? If this the cash cow, I could treat you right. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna burn that bridge because that's my livelihood on the line because it makes sense. But I feel like that is completely not how humans operate. Like I feel like because we are sinful beings, like it is very easy for us to just forget. When Jesus healed the 10 lepers, only one even come back to say thank you. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, of course they thankful to you because you just healed them. You see, that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this is even a way where the devil, he trying to be deceptive.
No, he is. I mean, because think about the devil really on a deeper level. This is what the devil really saying, bro. God, no one is moral. No one can be moral because you bless them. So essentially, on a deeper level, again, bro, your law is fallible. Your infallible law that you so claim is fallible because you blessing these people and now they loving you. You take away all their blessings, they ain't gonna do nothing. So now they can't. So now they only following this law of yours because you blessing them. You take away these blessings, they can't follow your law. They have no desire to follow your law. And now you miss your law is fallible, and you are kind of like misrepresenting the whole universe. You govern the universe incorrectly.
You basically extorting their love,
exactly,
or you bribing their love. Yeah, of course he love you because you protect him. You do all this.
Exactly. You see the devil say, bro, you have a hedge around him. You have a hedge around his possessions. You have a hedge around his family. And like, we could go into a whole different conversation about the hedge of protection that God be around us when we actually faithful and loving towards him. That could be a whole next conversation, right? But we seen the devil saying, bro, of course. Like, what else you expect to happen? Let me remove your hand of protection from him and let's truly see his true character. Go for it.
And I think I think like we say that's a psych. You know what I mean? In the Bahamas, a psych, I don't even know how to explain that. That's like a trick, like a scheme someone trying to devise. And that's a strong psych. Because it sounds so good, bro. But like just noticing what I noticed in the Bible, people don't need a reason to sin against God, bro. Like they could have everything, still sin. They could have nothing, still sin. You see what I'm saying? It's like, bro, your love for God that constrain you. And then even when you have more, there are more temptations when you have more. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Mercy.
And so
that's when people have more, they go into all types of debauchery.
all type, bro. And we see it, bro. Us middle class or even lower class people, we used to look at people like, but you had all of that, but why you even going through that?
Exactly.
We just was talking about politicians who, bro, you have the career, bro. You see what I'm saying? But now you trying to go against your career path to be corrupt and to be a criminal, you know what I mean? And to do things that can throw your life away and stuff.
Mercy.
You know? And so the devil try make an argument, but at the end of the day, it's so funny, like, the only thing he can do is try. But you talking to God, bro. You didn't think God know the source of his righteousness? Like, you think God would have vouched for him if his righteousness was only conditional?
But here's the thing, too. Like with everything in the Bible, we still have a choice to make. So God could still know, because even with Abraham, right? God know you have it in you to do this. Like the parable of talents. I know what you have in you, and I give it to you what you, based on your ability, right? But you still have a choice what you're going to do with that.
That's a fact.
Like the guy with the last talent, bro. I gave you what I know you could do, but you chose to do otherwise.
Yep.
Abraham, but suppose Abraham made up in his mind, bro, I am not going to sacrifice Isaac, bro.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
I ain't putting myself in this predicament, bro. I'm not doing it, bro. What happened? He still had a choice. Joseph had multiple choices to like turn his back on God. He didn't. David, we see David made some good choices and he made some bad choices. But again, it's still a choice.
You see the duality.
Exactly. You see the dualities. Even to mention Samson. I mean, Samson made a bunch of bad choices at first, but then he made a good choice.
Definitely did.
You know what I'm saying? So again, we still have the choice. So even like this book could have been so different had Job chosen the other way. And we're going to get into actually how Job felt about it, right? But we still have a choice in the day. Even though God know our potential, you still have the choice to utilize our potential for good or for bad.
That's true. That's true. You're right. Because it ain't like, because I'm not implying that Job is predestined to be faithful. You see what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. If I'm in the devil's shoes, right?
My boy ain't want to say he's the devil.
Yeah, I don't want to talk these
My boy
things,
said
right?
that he's sitting right with me.
Right. Because I really try not to be on his side. And
I know.
But bro,
it makes for good conversation.
Right. So if I am in his shoes, right? If I could advocate for him for a little bit, right? You already get Adam and Eve, who was sinless to fall.
Yeah.
Anybody, once you already achieve that, everyone else should be chopped liver compared to that. You see what I'm saying? So I can see why, even though God vouched for him, he's like, okay, let me, in the art of war, right? Like they want you to say, they want it to be like, you always get your advantage. Like you always put yourself on a higher playing field than your opponent type of situation. You know you can't get Job to crack when everything going good for him.
Exactly.
Because you already tried to get him to crack. That's how we know he righteous. The only reason we know he righteous is because when temptation came,
he shunned evil.
He shunned away the evil.
He shunned away evil. He shunned away the evil.
He shunned away the evil. Like if evil never came to his doorstep, we wouldn't know what he would do in that situation.
Exactly.
But you done try and you done fail all these time. And you believe, oh, that's only because he protected. Now you get God to waive the protection, and now you can play ball.
You could go to business.
All right.
So now in verse 12, and the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Now that's where it gets a little juicy.
Satan going stupid. But Satan, but he ain't have no temperance, like no type of.
He's the devil. What you expect him to have?
That's crazy, bro.
All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle your seatbelts. Now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house.
I see.
And a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were feeding beside them. Then the Sabaeans raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you. So again, that is 10,000 donkeys and oxen gone. One fatal swoop. Now in verse 16, while he was still speaking, So this man just barely get done. While he was still speaking, another person came to him and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. I alone escaped to tell you. So now that's the next.
You're gone.
That's the next 10,000 sheep and whatever else, they gone.
But think about what happened. The fire.
Exactly. Fire coming down. That's great.
You could talk about it, but I just want to make a note, bro. This is not figurative because there's death. Like you could see that this is something that literally came down. It could be lightning or whatever, but there's something supernatural that happened as a result of the devil. So even when we talk about the Antichrist, right, in the book of Revelation, when they say he'll do signs and wonders, even bringing fire from heaven, that's not figurative, bro.
There's something he has clearly done before.
And I want to make no mistake, though. I know what we say during this episode when we were talking about the prophets of Baal and the prophets of and Elijah when he faced off against the prophets of Baal.
Yeah.
If the devil had the permission to, he could have cast down fire from heaven. That's why them Baal prophets, they were so confident that he can do it. That's why they was like, oh, we must need to cut ourselves more. They start cutting themselves because they know.
They going crazy.
They know these things could happen. But guess what? God, who is the supreme ruler, have to permit for that to happen. You see what I'm saying? And the reason we don't see these things happening is because the Lord don't permit it, you know?
You know, that's 100% facts. And then, right? So now,
17.
verse 17, while I was still speaking, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you. Now in verse 18, while he was still speaking, yet another also came. Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine at their oldest brother's house. And suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house. And it fell on the young people, and they are dead. I alone have escaped to tell you.
You know what's so funny, bro? That first servant was saying how he's the only servant. I guess all of them say that, right? But he had a bunch of servants. Even working for him, the devil killed them.
Like, yeah.
But his employees, bro.
Collateral damage,
bro. That's a
God
big,
say,
bro.
I can't touch you. God didn't say, I can't touch them.
Boy, oh boy.
The technicalities, my friend.
For real.
The technicalities. But think about it, bro. You know, like when, put it this way. If Earl was Job, any one of these could mess up my day.
What? Literally.
Forget. I haven't reached my children yet. Oh, Lord, I lose all that. Okay. How I can bounce back? Oh, I lose that too? My goodness. Okay. I lose that too? Like, you know, when you haven't, like, it's too much to bear, bro.
Boy.
And then you're saying, okay, at least, hey, at the end of this, you only saw us, at least I still got my family.
Boy.
At least I still got my family. Lord, my 10 children gone, but in one fatal swoop, bro.
Oh, 10.
And this scene even, like, the Bible even going to say if they had husbands and wives and grandchildren, but he lose all 10 of his children in that one fatal swoop. He lose the whole family in that one fatal swoop.
Mercy.
And all his wealth. Gone. One fatal swoop. Bro, in one day. One day. It wasn't even like a prolonged, like, all right, this month, then this month, then this month.
But it wasn't even like I had a minute.
But
in between.
Let me say, as soon as this one finished talking, bro, you essentially get 4 people, but y'all plan this because all 4 of y'all was just running together. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Was y'all in the same vicinity? Like, did all of these happen the exact moment, or it happened?
I think the crazy thing, I do think it had to be in different separate places. Like one come running from the east. Because think about it, like if y'all drinking at the brother's house, the sheep and stuff got to be in a different fields. And you have so much, they all probably have to be in different fields, bro.
Right.
You see, one talk about just the camels, one talk about the oxen, one talk about the sheep. Like I do think they was all in different places. Because
that's the thing. This wind, because when they say the wind came and blew down the house or whatever, it's like, bro, that's the only house was affected. I mean, it don't really matter in the grand scheme of the story, but it's like, if all this was in the same vicinity, The Chaldeans, they ain't had to avoid the wind. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then the Sabaeans, y'all ain't had to fight with the Chaldeans just because one getting my sheep, one getting my ox. You know what I mean?
Like they probably was all in different places. Because remember, even when Lot and Abraham get too big, it's like, bro, we got to split our ways. You got to go one way and I got to go the next way.
Yeah.
And Lot, no choice, so them come on. That's a story for a different day. And you guys can go back and listen to that episode on that, which was a good episode with Elisha. You know, them on in a very long time.
That's true. I ain't see bro in a minute.
Yeah, but we digress. So, yeah, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. And we see the devil wasted no time in trying to break Job. He's giving the ultimate job right now for the devil is to break Job. I could take it all. I could take it all rapidly because now what I try and do. I try and get you at your lowest point where I know you could be the most vulnerable to curse God, to strip away your own blessings. Let me show God that, again, let me prove God right. You was only this blessed, righteous man because that wasn't you. That was because of all these possessions. And then we see in verse 20, after hearing all this heartbreaking news, then Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshiped. And that's what, like, even when I was reading this again, I was like, bro, this bro, he ain't even lament. He ain't cry at this point in time, bro. He worship. And I feel like that word was so critical. Like, bro, through his time of sorrow and pain and agony, one of the first things he did is worship God through that.
Because it's like things happen in life, right? And
let me just finish reading that way because I could tie right into what I think you're about to say, right? And then he worshiped when he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job did not sin, nor charge God with wrong.
Mercy. And so it's like depending on your level of thinking. But it's certain things that happen where you know this is spiritual battle that's happening. You see what I'm saying? By last week, I had a bunch of car problems. I don't know if I say it on the pod.
You mentioned it briefly.
But yeah, my alternator gone bad after driving 4 hours away to go visit my little brother. And then I catch a flat tire. My car was in the shop the whole next day. The day after that, catch a flat tire. I had to change my tire. But it was inopportune for me to do that. But I did it, by the grace of God. The next day, my wife get rear end. She okay. Her car in the shop now, I think. These back to back to back. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I wouldn't be the type to say, oh, I feel like Job. You know what I mean? Because these things, like, it pale in comparison. Like, it ain't even close, right? But there's certain things that happen where you just like, bro, this is a spiritual attack that's happening. You see what I'm saying? Like, the devil trying to discourage me or trying to harm me or God trying to get my attention, but it's something we wrestling not against flesh and blood. There's principalities and powers and, you know what I mean? All of that. And so Job, when you lose literally everything, when you lose everything and everyone, it's blatantly obvious that this is a spiritual attack that's happening.
Mercy.
Blatantly obvious, bro. And so Job, being the blameless and upright dude, he take it straight to the Creator. You see what I'm saying? Because he understand, bro. Like, it's a saying where I hear a pastor say, bro, if God ain't do nothing else for me, he already been too good for me.
Yep.
Right? That's good to say. That's cool to say, bro. But do we actually mean it? You see what I'm saying? When we actually in the midst of the fire, do we mean that, bro? You see what I'm saying? Job had that type of faith. He was in the midst of the fire, bro.
Quite literally.
And he know this was a spiritual warfare that's going on. So what do? He take it to God, bro. I can praise you, bro. You, naked I come, naked I go. You see what I'm saying? Like, you still, blessed be the name of the Lord. Facts.
Mercy. Oh my, like it's so funny. You always used to hear this same, I guess, passage be quoted at funerals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arguably when the coffin about to go down. And it's just interesting. I like how the point you brought up with it just being spiritual warfare, right? Because again, even on another level, you're thinking about, he knew that for all this stuff to happen, the Lord had to permit it in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because he didn't say the devil take it away, or he ain't, like, there was
That's
no
true.
complaint.
Right.
He said, bro, the Lord gave me all these blessings.
Mm-hmm.
And we as readers saying, oh yeah, the devil just took it away from him. But Job was right. The Lord allowed the devil to take it away from him.
Yeah, perspective.
So the Lord has given and the Lord has taken away. And he have a bad line in chapter 2 that I didn't even want to say right now. But that line tying so much, so good right now. You're going to tie in the next week's episode too. But he have a bad line in chapter 2 that I love. That I love. But again, it's like, think about it now. Here's the question, right? Is this just? And this is a question we're going to be wrestling with throughout the rest of the book, right? Because like in our minds, why would God allow this to happen? And this brings me back to in the New Testament, right? When Jesus had just healed this blind man, and the question was asked, Jesus like,
who sinned?
Who sinned? Was it this man's parents? Was it him? Like, who sinned? And Jesus said, who said like someone had to sin for this to happen? Some things just happen for the glory of God to be revealed, right? And then that's the question right there. Was that just? So you mean this man probably was born blind, grew up all these years, couldn't see just for this one moment?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just? And now we as humans trying to, again, like as I talked about early in the episode, we try to put God in this box because how do we define just? How do we define righteousness, right? And that's the same thing the devil was trying to do when he's trying to at least corner God. But again, he trying to say like, these laws that you have established aren't righteous. They aren't just. No one can follow them. But we got to realize our conception of these concepts, right? They're so flawed because we're putting our earthly righteous on God. When you see God rules the universe with love. Things that should happen, he doesn't allow us to happen. Because again, if he was just by our standards, then we all should be dead. He gave us grace that we're not bearing the sacrifice. Well, I'm gonna say bearing the sacrifice, right? But we're not bearing the actual penalty of death.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have a chance of eternal life because of a just God.
And even if he was just by all of our standards, bro, like even if all of us get to define justice, and he met that, that wouldn't change
our perception.
Yeah, that wouldn't change because like just by my perspective, by my mind, you would still look at that and say, "By God, ain't just.
That ain't fair."
You say saying that ain't fair, and then the things that you call just, I might look at them and be like, "But that's not just, bro." Like you see what I'm saying? And so it's like, bro, but it's nothing. It's nothing God could do to appear to everyone as being a just God. You see, but that's not his fault.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's our fault.
And to finish your point, not to finish your point, but like to continue your point, right? And that's why all of our rationalizations of God all seem to be unjust. Because in our flaws and our sin, we can't rationalize what true justice and true righteousness is. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to be honest, to Earl Clinton Roberts II, why my family got to get taken away?
That's true.
Why my possessions got to get taken away? You know what I'm saying? Now, I would hope I'd be like Job, right? But as you think, put yourself in this situation, what would you actually do? You know what I'm saying? Even if you people realize it's a spiritual attack and they still crumble and fall. God, why me? Why this guy? Why I gotta be the one going through this? Yada yada yada. This, that, and the third, right? And again, so it's like even like the concept of justice, I feel is a figment of our imagination because only God truly knows what that means, and that's why even in the Psalm, you gotta put your trust in Him. Because there will be things that happen that you don't understand. There will be, your enemies might seem like they prevailing and you don't understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You might feel that you deserve to be more. You don't understand why you ain't moving up. You know what I'm saying? Like God knows why things are happening. God knows why people are in positions of power. God knows why you're in the position you're in. And sometimes you just all the times you actually need to trust Him. You know what I'm saying? All the times you need to trust God because stories like Job really make you ponder with that question. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I like it. And we have a whole 42 chapters to go, so we're going to be in Job for a minute. We're going to be in Job for a minute. I mean, some of these might be combined because it's just like call and responses, but yeah, this gonna be an exciting journey. It's gonna be an exciting journey with a lot of like wrestling of these deeper questions. And spoiler alert, the book never tells you why this happens, which is another reason why I love it.
Yeah,
because it doesn't give you the answer on why this happens, because that's not the point. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just it's gonna be a fun ride. Go for it.
It leaves us to speculate, but then because it doesn't tell us to happen, what we should draw from it is that regardless of why it happens. So don't live life expecting that it cannot happen.
Exactly.
It may not happen. You see what I'm saying? But it definitely can. And it's so crazy because it's like, what does it mean for God to brag on you or to vouch for you? You remember when the disciples was trying to say the sons of thunder, John, he was trying to ask God if he could sit at his right hand, and then Jesus asked him if he prepared to drink from this cup as well. You see what I'm saying? Jesus know the type of persecution and the type of agony and pain that he about to go through. You want to be at my right hand, but you know what come with this? You know what I mean? Like for real, bro. Or is it only your perception of serving God is only for the glitz and glamour?
Mercy.
You know what I mean?
Mercy.
And Job understood that. I just wish I could interview Job, bro. I wish we could have Job on the pod.
Boy, that gotta be a heavenly podcast.
That could be a heavenly podcast.
If you even had podcasts back then.
For real, because I want to ask somebody like, bro, at what point in time did you adopt the mindset that naked you came and naked you will go? When you, like me, you know me, we ain't grow up with air conditioning in the house. No,
boy, dead bougie.
But I don't want to be nowhere that ain't got air conditioning. But if I have a choice, I see the other side now, bro.
Him and this man, Dominic.
I see the other side, bro. Like I do it if I have to, bro. I ain't complaining. But if I have the opportunity, I ain't just saying to do it, bro. If I could choose, like you know what I mean? I choose in comfort, you know? And so you get used to certain things. The Lord has blessed you. The Lord had a hedge around you. Bro, your children was adults, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had 10 children. I imagine that the youngest one was of age, bro. You see what I'm saying? Because they wasn't living with you. I believe because we know the brother house and party every year and things like that.
Exactly.
I imagine that these was adults, bro. You were a mature man, bro. You already finished all that, bro. And you already probably live a good life, maybe ups and downs, but at the time when we meet you, is plenty ups. And at what point... living pretty good. And at what point in time did you tell yourself, bro, but it's only by the grace of God, bro. But this could all get taken away. You know what I mean? Or
and be so okay with that decision.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, to me, that's trauma, bro. Like, you just lost people and possessions without no. No, I talk about Job. Like, he just lost all of this.
Just like, bro.
Like, I just feel like I'm trying to say that I feel like that would be very traumatic, bro, because you just lost people without no bracing, like without no what's it called? No, I don't know. Like, you ain't had no way to brace yourself.
Yeah, no.
From this was happening. This was all completely unexpected. You see what I say? So it's like
go from riches to rags.
That's what I saying, bro. Like when my car. Anyway, like if you ever get in a car accident, bro, and your car right off, bro. One day you have a car, one day you don't have a car, bro.
Nope.
You see what I saying? And it's like, man, and then you be sitting at the house like, bro, I want to go somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? I can't. Just like that. You know what I mean? Or if you ever, lost a family member abruptly, or had a breakup that was abrupt and things like that, it's like, bro, what? I didn't see this coming. I was blindsided by all this, But Job, even in the midst of his adversity, he just worshiped God, bro.
Amen.
Like, he was bulletproof, bro. Like, the devil was upset, bro. Either that or the devil just have no type of, I know he don't care about human beings, but you can go full-fledged, I destroy it. Like, imagine if someone say, boy, I could do something to you. You could do everything to me?
But think about it, right? This your this your enemy who giving you a green light to prove that he wrong, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't holding back.
Yeah, he's trying to be thorough.
You ain't holding back. Because why should I... Here's the thing. Why should I play fair when you already giving me the advantage? No, I am taking full advantage of this. If you tell me try to make him break, I can make him break.
Make him break.
That was his whole objective. I can make him break. This is my second opportunity to say that, boy, your laws ain't just. Because clearly, I thought I had the bag and you come up with this plan of redemption. So I gotta try harder. I thought I win and you had a whole secret plan I didn't know about.
For real. I thought but yeah, bro. I mean, the most amazing part of this, though, at the end of the day, Job worship God. So now, just to go back to where it started, bro. Like for us who consider ourselves to have gone through, if you feel like Job, it can't only be because of the hardship. It's a better comparison you can make. Because if you feel like Job, you feel like a righteous person who gone through this from a human perspective unjustly, but also you humble enough to say, bro, anyway, God give, God take away, bro. You see how he's saying that's just how it is. But above all, bro, blessed be the Lord.
Amen.
Regardless of what I going through, the Lord is still good and the Lord is still blessed, and nothing that I going through can change my mind about that. There was a meeting between the sons of God and the Lord himself, and the devil attended. And God asked the devil if he had considered his servant Job, one that was blameless and upright, who shuns away evil. And the devil guaranteed him that if the hedge of protection had been taken away from Job, he would surely curse God to his face. And God agreed to allow him to try. So the devil took away Job's family, his possessions, his wealth, and Job still blessed the Lord and did not curse him. But after taking away all of Job's possessions, the devil is about to target Job himself. But we'll talk more about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.